we're back on the Bastard Junior, and the battery pack that I use in my other build, Bastard Junior, it won't quite fit in this one. I've got the motor so far forwards, we don't have any space under the hood. There's really no good way, unless I have a hood with a big scoop on it or something like that, there's no way to make these 850s fit. So I picked up these little Ovonics, these little 500s, and it should be fine. I may need to go down in KV for these 500s, especially using 3S. I don't know if the 2300 KV is gonna really find this to be enough power. I mean, they only have JSTs on the output. That's like a 7 amp plug right there. And these are supposed to be good for 35C discharge, which that's gonna be a, whatever half of 35 is. Was that 17 and some change, something like that, 17 and a half. Yeah, so this is good for like 17 amps continuous, so it says, but that plug is not gonna handle it. We probably wanna go to an XT30 or something like that. So this will fit right here on the frame. However, there's not any extra room and there's really no good way to hold it. So maybe I could redesign my skid plate once again. I could move the transmission over, maybe by a millimeter. Oh, the transmission's practically sitting on the rails already, so maybe I can't do that. But what I could do is put a flat structure for this to sit on, and maybe even have a little plastic printed hook that would clip it in. But that's not a bad spot for the battery. That almost hides. That almost hides completely. So not a bad spot there. Or if we rotate our motor, I can make a little plate up here. That's not bad either. And then I could keep all the wires hidden and everything hidden instead of having this right there. So I guess there's only one thing to do. That's going to be unbolt this transmission and rotate the motor. Now, if I need to go to a lower KV motor, do I keep the 540 or do I use a prototype that I've got laying around? I am not going to make that decision in this moment. So the first thing is, I guess, just unbolting the motor. I do wonder if I can get this out without unbolting. I do believe I can. We'll find out. Only 2 screws here. Oh, well, 3 when we include the drive shaft. I should probably unbolt the drive shaft first. And I must say, for this rig, it appears that I have plenty of passive drag brake so far. All right, take out this cross pin here. And, oh yeah. I guess I didn't have that tightened on the other side. Well, that's good to know. Would have fallen out. How many times do you have to redo your builds? I would say that, you know, just a few times, but I've taken this apart so many times at this point. I'm willing to just redesign over and over and over, I guess. All right, so this is how it's sitting. Oh, I didn't even have my motor case cover on. Whatever, don't matter. I'm not really running in the dirt, but I should probably put that back on. All right, back on task. I need to rotate my motor. I don't want that hanging down. I don't want these hanging down. And while it's out, I suppose I should probably look at changing the wires out, because if we're going to be using a really tiny battery like this, the XT60 is, it's too much. It's just too much. We don't need all that. XT30 would be fine. We got a bunch of XT30s here. So I should probably address that. There we go. By the way, Deluxe is running what they call a knockoff sale on their transmissions. They are aware that there's a bunch of knockoffs online, and I will say that the knockoffs are not actually a full knockoff. It's not the same cut files. It is the same looking shape, but it's not at all the actual same cut file. So this wasn't like a factory moonlighting or Deluxe using some factory that, you know, does all the hard work for them, and then, you know, Deluxe is just rebranding. This is somebody that got a Deluxe transmission and literally did their best to copy it, and it's really just a copy in looks more than anything else. The tolerances, everything, the way that the edges are broken, there's really nothing about the transmission that it is the same, but it looks the same. All right. Oh, no, wrong way. So we got our drive shaft on the front side that would probably get hit in this. So let me undo what I'm doing right here before I create a problem for future self. Future self thanks me for realizing before future self bolted it all back together. Just one more time, I promise. One more time. There we go. I am glad that I did 8 instead of 6 mounting points on this. It just gives a little bit more adjustability. Maybe not perfect adjustability for every single installation, but there's no such thing as perfect. There's always going to be some installation to where we've got to make some compromises. Well, that's always the case with designing. You know, every transmission is different. They have their mounting points at slightly different angles, maybe, or all right, I'll make sure I get this right. Go, should be right. There we go. Perfect. Perfect. I think. Is it? Yeah, close enough. All right, so it's going to be sitting flat like that. Again, not fully. It's a fully, man. Not perfectly flat with these outputs, but it'll be fine. It'll be totally fine. There we go. Now, the only gripe that I actually do have about these transmissions is that setting your gear mesh is, what's a good way to put it? Difficult. It's difficult. I can't see it. It's literally by feel. And you never want your mesh to be too tight. Come on now. There we go. But this transmission is so compact. Kudos to Deluxe on thinking outside of the box on how to arrange everything. And there's only so many different ways that you can do something. All right, so we do have a little bit of lash inside the transmission. Let's see. Why is it locked up? I don't like this being locked up. What am I missing? I think it's too tight of a mesh is what it is. Yeah, it's just a little difficult, in my opinion, to set this mesh, but you know, in the performance side of things, there's always going to be a little ups and downs. So that is totally smashed. I am going to just come off of totally smashed. There we go. That's what we want. So we've got a little bit of lash in there. It is a little noisy. Metal pinion on metal gears. You know, I would be tempted. I'd be really tempted to use graphite grease. So this transmission didn't come greased because, you know, China knockoff, whoopsie. I would be really tempted to use a graphite inside of this. And I suppose while I've got it all out, oh yeah, that's not bad. There we go. That's still noisy. I think Cow RC sent me some. They've got a new graphite lube. Let me go look real quick. All right, so what I did find was this industrial grade mousse slick. It's got PTFE inside. Was it Teflon for anybody that remembers Teflon cooking pans? So this is for RC bearings. It should work just fine in here. However, if you have better suggestions for inside of this, unless I grab, you know, the old Wilderness Trail Bikes grease, regular old grease. I mean, really, any grease is going to be better than no grease, and right now there's no grease in this. And this stuff will work its way around. Where's our applicator straw? There we go. So I'm going to just give a little shot of this. This is, all right. I can see that there are some openings on this side of the motor because my motor faces are not perfectly shaped. They're shaped the way that I want them to be shaped. And I can see that could potentially cause a problem. There we go. Just a little bit. Doesn't need much. I really don't want this running out all over the place. Oh, and it already did. That stuff smells good. Reminds me of working in the bike shop. There we go. We're going to give it a little bit of this. We're going to hopefully not attract a whole bunch of dust. Probably are, but that's fine. And, you know, maybe in the future I could adjust the design of my motors so that it had a full seal on these particular transmissions. It wouldn't take much. It would actually maybe clean up the face of the motor a little bit, but I designed it like that for maximum weight savings to where it's got these lobes, as you can see. But on this particular gearbox, it gives us a teeny bit of space for dirt to be able to get in. Not ideal. So let me know in the comments on that particular issue if you would like to see a slight redesign of the motor faces. There we go. Make sure we just get all this off that we can. And honestly, before I bolt this back in, I should just solder new leads on here. But we're gonna see what it looks like first. There we go. Love the smell of oil in the morning. Cool. I think that'll do. All right. So transmission is gonna sit about like yay, something like that. Yeah. I guess I could bolt in one just to hold it. That's not gonna hurt anything. It won't hurt my feelings. Oh, getting it in is much harder than getting it out. I did not leave myself a lot of room. Oh well. Whatever. I didn't want to bolt you in anyways. There. Oh, yeah, now it's lined up. Fine, I'll try one more time. Yeah, there we go. Just to hold it. You gotta know when to hold it. Know when to fold it. Something, another, what am I doing? There we go. Look at that. It fits. It actually fits just fine. Plenty of clearance there. We can, let's just shove these wires down for the moment and show you, boom, flat, no problem. I could actually fold up some plastic or 3D print something to hold this in place, even hanging onto the transmission if I wanted to. Of course, I want this battery as far forward as possible. So, hey, lots of room. Now, I wonder about fitting it sideways. Yeah, we would not have enough room sideways. If we had enough room sideways, that means there would also be enough room for this. And in that case, then, well, I'm doing a scooped hood. So, you know, what I could definitely do is have a few different options, a few different varieties. And for the scooped hood, I mean, the scooped hood could hold this battery, as a matter of fact. So I just have to buy more of these, which I don't have, but it's going to be very specific to each size. But when you got 3D printing available to you, it's really easy to just make iterations like that. So I like this though. And the 500s, I mean, worst case scenario, I'm going to rubber band this to the top of the motor and just go for a run, and we're going to see how long it lasts, see how long the runtime is for a 500 milliamp hour pack. But before we do that, we need to change out our battery plugs, and I don't think the JSTs are going to be the way. XT30s in this tiny rig should be just fine. So, all right, I'm going to call that good for today's on camera. What I need to do still off camera is first get this out. I need to get my ball ends on the back, which I found. I did find those. There we go. Come on, you can do it. You can do it. There we are. I need to replace the ball ends on the back here. As you can see, I've got those around here somewhere already. I put them aside, but I found them. So we're gonna get that done, and front drive shaft, and that's it. We're ready. We're almost ready. So while we have another week or two of good weather left, I'm going to get this sucker on the rocks, and we're going to see how she does. There we go. If you have any suggestions on parts for this particular thing, in particular, more batteries, maybe there are some other sizes that are a little bit more common that you like for trail running rigs that have basically no room, would love to hear them, because I'm not up on batteries these days. In the meantime, thanks for tuning in. Have a great day.